I want to welcome you today to an exciting program that we have with USF's Dr. Judy Genshaft and Dr. Arthur Guilford. My name's Todd Pokriva. I'm the Vice Chair of Public Policy and Small Business with Manatee Chamber of Commerce this year. We have two distinguished speakers here this afternoon, from USF. We're excited to have them. And I'm going to start by introducing Dr. Judy Genshaft. Dr. Genshaft serves as the University of South Florida System's president and president of the University of South Florida, one of the nation's largest and most comprehensive metropolitan research universities. As Chief Executive Officer of the USF system, she oversees a system serving more than 47,000 students at 2 institutions, including a major academic medical center and 2 regional campuses. Dr. Genshaft is responsible for the management of all units of the USF system, a $1.8 billion operating budget that includes $380.4 million in sponsored research funding. In addition, relations with the Board of Trustees are directed, the Board of Governors, the State Board of Education, the Florida Legislature, and other state agencies, as well as Congress and federal agencies. Reporting directly to Dr. Genshaft and all vice presidents, the Regional Chancellor of USF St. Petersburg, the Regional Chancellor of USF Sarasota Manatee, and the Interim Vice President and CEO of USF in Lakeland. As USF System President, Dr. Genshaft delegates system-wide authority to the Vice Presidents as appropriate. USF Vice Presidents within the system-wide authority and responsibilities are chaired, and each council's roles and responsibilities, scope of activities, membership, and operating procedures are established and approved by Dr. Genshaft. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Judy Genshaft.
Thank you. It's so good to be here, and I just want to say, you're a great group. You know, you go to different places and you see different people. I think your group is lively. You've got some zest and some spirit, and it's really a pleasure to be here. I also wanted to introduce our Board of Trustee member, Byron Shin, and ta-da! And our campus board members, our Sarasota Manatee campus board members, we have Rick Smith and Bob Turner. So we're glad that you're here. It takes a lot of people to try to direct us. I mean, really, it does. But we're very proud of the University of South Florida, and there was something that occurred in June that was very, very exciting, and that was that the National Science Foundation, now that's the foundation that collects all the information, whether you're in the Department of Defense or the Department of Energy or National Institutes of Health, and they compile all the data, and they came out with, out of 4,000 institutions of higher education in America, that USF is now in the top 50 of all institutions, public or private, in America. The top 50 in America. So what I say is, move over, Duke. Move over, Wisconsin, and move over Michigan, because here is USF. And there's only one other Florida institution that is just 4 points ahead of us, and that is an institution that's 100 years older than we are. So we're really, really proud of that standing, and that really tells you the kind of research and substance that the University of South Florida has. It's something that we've been working to break into that glass ceiling, and we've done that, and we're very pleased. We're also very pleased, of course, with the kind of growth and inspiration that USF Sarasota Manatee has in its growth, and I know that Arthur is going to tell you a lot about USF Sarasota Manatee, but I just wanted to tell you from a system-wide point of view, there isn't anyone better than Arthur and his whole team. It's such a great campus, and all we want to do is continue to grow it because the student demand is there. And so we're very proud of USF Sarasota Manatee. And we compared our notes. You know, I had things to tell about Sarasota Manatee, but he said, no, I'm doing that. So we can't do that. We can't do that. We're also very proud of USF St. Pete, and you know, that is where our marine sciences is housed, the College of Marine Sciences. And that's been very exciting because of the not only the work that they do, but the recent BP oil spill, and our vessels, our research vessels, were out day one, and the kind of tracking and the kind of research that we've done, and the profile that we've established has now. There are fines that are coming out and with BP, and we just heard that the Florida Institute of Oceanography, which is about 21 institutions, including Mote Marine and USF, and it's housed at USF, these marine vessels, may be in line to receive something like $50 million. So we're all just holding our breath, and it's been announced on the floor of the United States Senate, and so we're hoping that will come through, because there's a lot that we can do to make sure that our fishing and the ports and all that go on is safer and cleaner, because if we had fish today, we'd probably have it from a lot of the ports that surround us. Let me just tell you a little bit more about some of the strengths why USF is so different than other institutions. The strengths that we have in Tampa, and I'll stay with Tampa because I know Arthur's going to do Sarasota Manatee. The strengths that we have are USF Health, and in that arena, we've got our Alzheimer's and anything that deals with neuro, stroke, any kind of brain type of disease, anything Alzheimer's that deals with the heart. We have the Florida Alzheimer's Center and incredible researchers in this whole field. We also have one of the largest researchers in diabetes, type 1 diabetes, in terms of how does it occur, where does it occur, and we have a whole clinic for type 1 diabetes. And also, we're now breaking off and doing more with type 2 diabetes, which is one of the most rapidly growing diseases in America, as well as in foreign countries as well. Middle East, huge incidence of type 2 diabetes. The other areas that infectious diseases, of course, but anything that deals with the environment and sustainability. So we talked about water, fresh water or salt water. We talk about engineering and energy and sustainability. Those are areas that we are very strong in, as well as the STEM areas. You know, now the buzzwords are all about STEM. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and I add another M to it, and that's medicine, because it all relates together. and we are the #2 producers of all STEM degrees in Florida. And again, the first university is 100 years older than we are. But in any case, USF, in all the areas that we have, we really, really work very, very hard to be innovative, creative, and very interdisciplinary. Because if you have some kind of a disease, or you're trying to deal with diabetes, for example, your one discipline in, say, nutrition isn't going to solve it. You have to work together. You have to work across disciplines. So what do? We bring every researcher on the campus, no matter what, if they're in education, if they're in public health, if they're in medicine, if they're in engineering. You come together, and we have this, you've heard of what's it called, the social dating, the speed dating. We do the speed dating. And yes, we do speed dating. And what we do with the researchers is they have 3 to 4 minutes to talk about their research, what they do, and how they might collaborate together. And after it's all over, there's a reception time, and the kind of synergy that's come out of this is phenomenal. So there's a lot going on. It's very, very exciting. But I want you to all know that no matter where you've graduated, USF is your university, because we're the economic development. And USF Sarasota Manatee establishes public-private partnerships. USF St. Pete's public-private partnerships, and of course USF Tampa does the same. One of the newest buildings that we've just opened up is in downtown Tampa, and it's called CAMELS. Have you heard of this building yet? CAMELS, Center for Advanced Medical Learning and Simulation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this, and it's phenomenal. This is a scenario where any doctors here? Okay, then I can talk about you. No. When you graduate from medical school and you go to your residency, and you may do a fellowship depending on your type of physician that you're going to be, and you finish all that and you say, all right, I'm done, I'm out into my private practice, or I'm with a hospital, or wherever I'm with. Nobody ever checks your competency ever again. So when you go into your surgeon, you need to know nobody has ever checked their competency and skills again. When we fly on an airplane, we know that the pilots they have to go through repeated tests to make sure that they're skilled and that they're going to fly the plane safely. But nobody checks physicians. So what this is, the Advanced CAMELS is what we call it, this Learning Simulation Center. It's an enormous setting where doctors from all over the world can fly in. If you're a neurosurgeon and you need to learn a new specialty of a brain repair of some kind, why try it on a patient that's living? Why not try it on a mannequin and learn that skill from the best person in the world? And that's where we're having conventions almost, or upgrades of doctors that want to refine their skills, or actually we even have reservations by veterinarians who want to upgrade their skills. And everything is a mannequin, and the newest equipment ever. There's public-private partnerships, newest equipment. You'd be amazed. And so these mannequins, not only can you simulate the kind of disease that you want or heart rate that you want, but they talk to you. And one sat up as I was touring and said, ouch, you hurt me. And they simulate everything, and it's so refined. At the end, the doctor is given a grade, and out comes a refinement of how well they did. Now, I want a doctor, if they're going to do surgery on me, that gets an A. Right? So the good news about this is that you can keep practicing your skills and until you've gotten it to the point where you really are conversant with that type of surgery. Or let's take, for example, if you have a surgery coming up that may be Siamese twins and you're going to separate them. You have to go through some kind of that practice facility. It's all simulation. And it's really just phenomenal. And we hope that that brings in economic development as well, because doctors will bring their families. They'll go out to beaches. They'll go to amusement parks. They'll go to different museums. They'll go to Moat Marine. They'll go to the gardens. It will bring people into this whole 8-county area that I think is very, very important. So that's one of the newest facilities that has come about, and that's what we're supposed to do as a public research university, bring new discovery and best practices to all of you. I know that Arthur is going to be speaking, but before that, I've just got to tell you about athletics. All right, women, are you ready? This Saturday is the Women's Football Clinic, and you have all the coaches that'll be there, and it is so much fun. No, you don't get dressed, and you're not going to go out and practice. But what you do is you learn all about football. So if some of you are beginners, like me, that's where I went, and I learned, okay, how many are on the football team out on the field? You're a beginner, just like I was. All right. Any woman know how many are out? All right. You're in advanced. You are now in advanced, because not only do they tell you each of the positions and all that, but they also, if you're in advanced, you call the plays. And it is so much fun. But that's this Saturday. Skip Holtz and group are there, and just to tell you about that. I put the football schedule for everybody, and there are magnet football schedules for refrigerators. And we have a good season, and of course, the first, we are all about competing, cooperative and competition. We're going to beat FSU. How's that? All right, Skip, did you hear me? Did you hear me, Skip? Yeah. But, the whole sports arena it's really fun. I'm chairing NCAA right now across America. And the big issue that we're discussing today is what is going to happen to Penn State. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Sports is not something light and lean. So anyway, I will do something first, and then you'll get on, okay? I'm going to give you time. I'm getting... Anybody have season tickets? All right. Then you get a shirt. All right. Anybody going to buy tickets?
Of course I am.
Okay, here you go. All right, and let's see. One more. Let's see. Anybody have any children going to USF? All right. Well, we'll answer questions. Now I get to introduce our great board of directors, who will introduce our fantastic Arthur Guilford. But wait, you've got an introduction coming. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Genshaft. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Arthur Guilford. He was appointed as Regional Chancellor of the USF Sarasota Manatee campus effective April 20th, 2007. Prior to coming to USF Sarasota Manatee, Dr. Guilford worked at the USF Tampa campus for over 31 years. He moved from assistant to associate to full professor to department chair and to his most recent position as Associate Dean of Faculty and Program Development for the College of Arts and Sciences. In that role, he had extensive experience related to faculty governance, promotion and tenure, and program development. A respected scholar in communication sciences and disorders, Dr. Guilford has a strong track record in grant writing and research. A faculty member since 1976, he has served on numerous college and university-wide committees. He served as Associate Dean for the College of Arts and Sciences since 2004 and was chair of the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders for 14 years prior to the Associate Dean appointment. Dr. Guilford's a native Floridian, received his bachelor's degree from Florida State University. His master's degree is from Tulane University, and he earned his doctorate at the University of Michigan. He taught at the University of Michigan and directed the residential aphasia stroke program there. He also taught at California State University, Los Angeles before coming to USF. He's very active on community boards, including the Manatee Chamber of Commerce Board. And I want you to please give a warm welcome to Dr. Arthur Guilford, the Regional Chancellor for USF Sarasota Manatee. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's great to be here. And I probably can't put as much athletic enthusiasm into what I'm going to tell you, but I am going to tell you that we're living in a great place down here. I'm going to tell you some old news, but I'm also going to tell you a lot of new successful things that are going on. I've already announced publicly that we are admitting our first freshman in the fall of 2013, and now I can honestly announce to you we have our first applications for the fall of 2013 for our first freshman class. I can also tell you that we're planning on completely funding anything that students don't have funding for the first 100 freshmen, and we're actively in a campaign to do that now. We've already started admitting sophomores for this coming fall, and actually the largest segment of our growth is now at the lower division level, which is absolutely great. You know that a year ago, June, we celebrated our separate accreditation, regional accreditation, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, and that was a big milestone for us because for the first time ever, we love being a part of this system, but for the first time ever, we now hire our own faculty, we tenure our own faculty, we promote our own faculty, and we design our own curriculum, which makes us much more likely to meet your needs. And that's why we have the only hospitality degree program for the USF system is located on our campus because hospitality is a lot of what we're all about. Recently, the University Board of Governors just approved work plans, and our going freshman was in our work plan, and also approved tuition, and you should pass this on to your relatives, to your friends. USF Sarasota Manatee is now the lowest tuition rate in the state of Florida because we as a system agreed to only go up 11%, and so that put us now at the lowest tuition rate in the state of Florida, but we show that we have the best cost value for the courses that we offer here. And we're extremely proud to be a part of the University of South Florida system. I frequently get asked that question, particularly in light of what went on in Lakeland, and I say, no, I could never buy this brand in a million years. I couldn't live long enough. It just made me tired listening to how many years I've been here. And of course, Byron leaned over and said, do you have a gerontology wing over there? I'm going on record is that say it's easier to do these things when you finish your doctorate in your very, very, very early 20s, which I did. So it was easier. See, I've had more time to do these things. But our partnership with the USF system really helped to put us in a position of exchanging some money and to kick off our Moat Marine project. Otherwise, we would not be able to do that. We're still in an active campaign mode to raise more money for an endowed science scholar, and I'm also delighted to tell you that I can now announce that Folly Bryant will be our architect on our new Moat Marine Science Labs. And Willis A. Smith will be our construction firm, and we're ready to start right away. I've got to have those labs finished. I'd also like to tell you a little bit about what's going on in our College of Education, and I hope you read the very excellent editorial that Terry Osborne did. But we have a new initiative in the College of Education called PAINT, Partners for Arts Integrated Teaching. And what this does is infusing arts into the entire curriculum and really enriches that curriculum. If you come visit us sometimes, you'll see all kinds of art projects going on right outside of the College of Education, how they're using geometry to draw, how they're figuring math and so forth. It's really very, very exciting. All right, now I want to turn some attention to our student successes, because these are your children, your grandchildren, your relatives, your friends. So they're really very successful. Our MBA students regularly score in the 90th percentile on the Educational Testing Services Major Fields Test. That's good news in and of itself. This year, our students scored in the 97th percentile nationally. That means that when their results were compared to over 14,000 students at 225 MBA programs, our students were in the 97th percentile. You know, we also hear that don't go into the College of Education because you can't get a job in teaching anymore. Listen, I've been doing this long enough to know this is all a great big cycle. The reason USF came down here 34 years ago was to meet the critical crisis in schools in this particular region. And so we've just had 7 of our most recent College of Education graduates hired within the school districts down here. And so that is terrific. We also have a distinguished alumnus, Michael Jones. He was just awarded a Fulbright scholarship for postgraduate research and will be doing that in Laos, and will be doing a blog. So follow his trials and tribulations and his research there. We've had 4 undergraduate students recently represented by USF Sarasota Manatee at the National Conference of Undergraduate Research, and they applied to a pool of 3,000 submissions, and 4 of our students were selected. We have 8 College of Business students who were awarded scholarships by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and our USF crew completed their first year of competition. Thank you, Jay Riley. Including a regatta at Benderson Park. And actually, they scored bronze, and there were only 3 boats, but they did it, right? They did it. And our crew is just going to get bigger and better, particularly now that we're admitting sophomores, and then 2013 when we admit freshmen. We can keep people for 4 years. We're going to have much longer time to build this up. Just a couple of other things, and then I'll sit down and let you ask us any questions that you'd like. I do want to remind you of our big event. It kicks off the social season here, Brunch on the Bay. And it will be November 4th. This is the first year we're actually holding Brunch on the Bay on our campus. It will be all throughout our courtyard, and if you ever attend any of the Perlman music events, it will then curve and come up where we set up the big Perlman event. So I think it should be just a lovely, lovely event for us. And remember that the primary reason we have Brunch on the Bay is it's our signature scholarship event, and we want to fund those first 100 freshmen and fund them well. I also, one last little thing to toot my horn, so to speak, is last night I was with Biz 941 because USF Sarasota Manatee was just named the best place to further your education. So we're really doing quite well down here. I think you can be proud of all of our faculty, our staff, and I'm so proud to have such a strong movement down here. So thank you for inviting both of us to come. We enjoyed it. We don't get to see each other as much as we'd like.
So now we're a tag team and we'll answer any questions.
Exactly. We have masters already. Right now, the way we're set up, we are not anticipating doctoral level education. Some of our faculty members do serve on dissertations, but they serve on a dissertation typically in conjunction with a student who's completing their doctorate in Tampa. But we do have master's programs already, and we've got plans for growing even bigger ones right now. In fact, I have a new proposal for a very exciting master's program now on my desk. We haven't started a broadcasting program. We keep testing the waters in film. We have a number of people down here who are very interested in film. I've talked with the College of the Arts in Tampa. They would have no objection at all if we developed a film program here. And we have several high schools that would be theater schools to us. What? Oh, and we do have WUSF in our campus. They have created a performance studio. It is state-of-the-art, and anytime you hear them doing a live broadcast from one of the performers with the artist series, they're on our campus. So if you hear in the future that so-and-so is going to be performing, it's on our campus. If you call my office, we'll get you in. We can't accommodate a lot of people, but we'll see that you get in. It's just wonderful for me. I'll get a notice and I'll go downstairs and I'll sit there and I'll listen and I'll think, I don't want to go back upstairs. This is really too nice. But we've joined a really, really nice partnership with WUSF. That's why you hear them promote us as much as you do. You know, we sort of scratch their back and they scratch our back.
It's a very big challenge. It's a very, very difficult scenario. And it's one where the decision hasn't been made yet, and there are a lot of suggestions that are out there. So let me ask you, how many of you would favor the worst scenario would be the death penalty for Penn State? 1, 2, 3? Okay.
4.
So 4. So more are coming up. More are coming up. What does it mean? Well, you shut down the whole operation of all football. That's gone. Well, it's not permanently. It's for a certain number of years. So there's only been one other time that there has been the death penalty, and that was at SMU. And it took them over 10 years to recover from that. And it has a lot of collateral damage, because what happens is that if you don't play any football, you play no games, then all of the vendors, all of everybody in the city, everybody that works off of that, plus then you don't play any games, you're looking at, for this scenario, what does the Big Ten do to find games now if they can't play Penn State? And so, but the issue is, it's been discussed very, very heavily and with fervor. So, fines, postseason play, scholarships, taking away games from the winning games from the coach. This was going on for 14 years. But it's the cover-up that's so dramatic about this. So it's very, very serious. And it does tell you the kind of hold that a popular coach, I mean, look at this. You've got the popular coach and you've got a president who was amazing in what he had done for Penn State. He'd been there for 20 years. And really brought Penn State up to a really significant level, but it takes everything down. It's the cover-up is the worst. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The whole scenario was the worst, but the cover-up was just awful because it let it continue. That's very true. You hear a lot of comments about that. That actually. The first president of the University of South Florida was totally against having any football because of just what you said, that it's not about sports, it's about learning, and we're not going to have sports. But nowadays, if you look at major universities, think of one. I can think of maybe 2 or 3 that are major universities that don't have a big sports program, but I can't think of many more. I can think of NYU, Emory, but it is something that brings back alums, it raises spirit, it gives you visibility, and there is something that is we just don't have enough money to get that kind of visibility, that it's a front porch to the university. And so is basketball. How many of you had heard of, now I'm trying to think of Butler University before they were in the top 4 or the top 2? You know, not many people had heard of Butler, but it gave them tremendous, you get higher applications, all that. It's just the way it is. And it isn't like this globally. It's only in the United States that has this kind of fanaticism for sports. It is. It's very, very important. And when I think of a partnership, I think of 2 sides winning. One side doesn't lose and the other side gains, as both sides are benefit equally. And working together with companies, if it's for internships or co-op programs or things like that, or if we do some service that helps the corporation, it's just so important. And that's also opportunities for jobs. And, when you hear Arthur talk about student teaching and then they receive their jobs, it gives the system a trial on this student to see whether or not it's going to be beneficial to hire them. So internships and those programs are really, really, really important.
We probably better let you go back to work now, because I think we've gone a little bit over 1. But President Genshaft and I'll be here for a few more minutes if you have some more questions. But thank you very much for your warm welcome.
And go Bulls.
Indeed.
Go Bulls.
Thank you, Dr. Guilford. Thank you, Dr. Genshaft. Fabulous program today, thought-provoking as it should be. I want to thank both Dr. Genshaft and Dr. Guilford for coming and speaking to us. And thank you for all that you do for this community with USF and for this region as well. It's exciting, and we love hearing about what's new and on the horizon for USF. Want to also thank again our sponsors, Mosaic and Kaiser. Want to thank Chamber staff for putting together this wonderful luncheon today, especially Neil Spiritus, Lisa Reeder, and of course Bob Bartz. And hope that everyone has a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much.